Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to be doing 10 crafts that you can do with your scrap iron-on or HTV. And I did a little tutorial a while back about 10 crafts that you can do with their scrap vinyl, and you guys really loved it and were requesting that I do somewhat of the same process with scrap HTV or iron-on. Now, throughout this tutorial, you're going to hear me either say iron-on or HTV. They are the same thing, so don't worry if you're getting confused. Iron-on and HTV are the exact same material. Okay, so in this video, you are going to see me use little, small, tiny pieces of scrap HTV, and we are going to create 10 projects with it. Now, in my tutorials, you're always seeing me cut out little pieces from my projects so that I can save them. And then I've also shown you the really fun organization system that I have for storing all of my scraps. So if you need to refer to any of those videos, I'll place some helpful videos in the description box below the video so that you can get caught up. So these are just 10 ideas of what you can do with your scrap iron-on or HTV. Of course, the possibilities are endless and there are tons of ideas of what you can do with these small little pieces, but I just chose 10 to feature in this little video today. So for the sake of time, I did go ahead and pre-cut out all of my projects just so that we could keep the video going. If you do need help learning how to cut out iron-on your machine, or you need help weeding it, I will be sure to link some really helpful videos in the description box below this video for you to refer to, because I have tons of videos on how to do that. So I'm keeping it really quick in this video, and we're going to go through some fun projects. I hope this inspires you in some way, and if you haven't been saving your scrap material, I hope that it inspires you to start saving these tiny pieces, because small pieces really add up to creating some really fun projects. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited to show you my 10 projects, and again, I'll link that other video as well for the 10 projects you can do with adhesive vinyl in case you want to get caught up on that. All right, let's go ahead and get started on the first project of the 10. Okay, so in case I didn't mention it, as a reminder, I did pre-cut all of my little designs just to save time because we are going through 10 different projects today. So if you do need help learning how to cut iron-on and weed iron-on, I will place a link to a whole playlist that I have on HTV and iron-on crafts for you to watch. So one of the first ideas that you can use scrap iron-on or HTV on is a little hat. So for this project, I just cut out a little design that used 2 inches by 2.5 inches, and I'm going to place this on the little hat here. So I will be sure to try my best and link all of the materials that I use plus the blanks that I use if I can find them. So just be sure to utilize that description box below. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the EasyPress Mini for this project. It's really, really helpful when doing crafts like this where they are not flat and you need a little bit more flexibility to maneuver around. I also like to use a dish towel, and I just put my dish towel inside the hat to place a protective barrier between my hand and the hat. It also helps me just to provide some steady surface, so it helps me just to make it a little bit firmer under there and build up that surface. So what I'll do is I will just preheat my hat. I have my press set to medium, and I'm making this for my daughter because she loves one of my hats that I have that has a cross on it. So I found this really cute idea in Design Space where it's little hearts that make up a cross, so I know she's just going to love this. So I went ahead and preheated that for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to go ahead and just place my design where I'd like it on the hat. Now the EasyPress Mini is intended to be moved as it's pressed, so I'm actually also going to grab some heat-resistant tape just to make sure this stays put while I'm pressing. So again, this is heat-resistant tape. You want to make sure that you use a heat-resistant tape because you're going to be applying heat to it. And then I am going to just place some tape on either side of my design just to help steady that and keep it still while I press. Okay, so that looks good to me. And then, again, placing my little towel under there as a barrier, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go ahead and place my press on there, and I'm going to press and move it around for about 25 seconds. And I am using little circular motions. Again, this is intended to be moved as it's pressed. And it does say on the heat guide to use constant movement. I'll be sure to link the heat guide because that is what I'm referencing for my projects. Then I'm going to wait for this to completely cool, and then once it's cool, I will peel up that carrier sheet. Okay, so that seems cool to the touch, so now I can just go ahead and remove my carrier sheet, and I monitored everything. If you have any pieces that aren't laying down, you can just place your sheet right back on top and repress, but I think that turned out so cute. She's going to love that. So again, just a very tiny piece of scrap iron-on, and it turned into a really, really fun little project. Another fun project for using your scrap iron-on is creating a little tea towel. So for this project, I cut out a little design, and I cut this out of a piece of scrap iron-on that was about 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And I had this left over from another project, and it's going to fit perfectly for my little tea towel. So what I'm going to do, again, really quickly, is I'm going to preheat my material, and I'm going to place it right over here in the center. So I'm going to preheat my material and make sure I just focus on that area where I am going to be placing my design. Now this just removes any moisture. It also helps to get the wrinkles out because I like to pre-wash my material before I iron things on, if I can. Of course, with the hat I did not, but for something like this that I'm going to be washing a lot, I like to pre-wash. Okay, so that is good. So once I preheat it, I like to go ahead and fold it back where I had it to place my little design, and then I center it where I'd like it, and that looks just about right to me. Okay, and then what I like to do, I'm gonna move that just a little bit actually. Okay, then what I like to do is then I will just unfold it again just so that there are no creases or anything underneath, and I want to make sure I have a nice even and flat surface to press onto. So then I am going to use 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. This is Siser Easyweed. So I'm going to go ahead and place my press right on there, and I am going to use medium pressure. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, just out of good habit, I like to just flip my material over, and I like to repress for another 10 to 15 seconds on the back. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead, and this is actually a hot or cold peel, so I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit to a warm state, and then I'll peel up my carrier sheet. Okay, so that's about warm to the touch, so I'm just going to peel up my carrier sheet and just monitor to see if there are any areas that are coming up. It looks pretty good so far. I feel like there was one little area right down here, so what I'm going to do is just place my sheet right back on top, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of additional heat, and that will just do the trick. Okay, and then just peeling up once more, it looks great. It all laid down the second time. So just with a really small piece of scrap iron-on, I was able to create a really fun little piece of home decor. This is a really fun idea if you need a last-minute gift for someone because it just uses very little iron-on, and the little towel is very, very inexpensive as well. So another fun idea for using those smaller pieces. Another fun idea for using your small scrap pieces of iron-on is just personalizing little wallets. So I found this really cute little wallet with a little lanyard on it, and I'll try to link it in the description box below. But I also had a really small piece of foil iron-on that I wanted to use, so I put my name on it. I think it turned out really cute, and I'll do my best to link the font that I used as well down in the description box. So for this project, I used a 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch piece of scrap foil iron-on, and I'm going to just personalize this little wallet with it. So you'll want to make sure that there's nothing inside the wallet before you do your pressing. And then what I did was actually grabbed a little piece of parchment paper just to protect the surface, and I am going to use my little mini EasyPress. I have it set to low, and then I'm just going to preheat the surface for about 5 seconds. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and place my little iron-on design right where I would like it on the wallet. And the best thing about iron-on is you can take it back up and place it back down as many times as you need to get it positioned just how you'd like it. And then you can press when you are confident and feel good about the placement. So now that I like where that is placed, I'm going to place my little parchment paper right back over, and then I'm going to press for 30 seconds. Again, with the EasyPress Mini, it's constant movement. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this cool completely, and then I will remove my liner. Now that it has cooled, I will go ahead and peel up my liner or my little cutting carrier sheet and make sure that everything has laid down, which it has, and that is so cute. Sorry, you will hear some beeping in the background because I am preheating presses as I am working on projects just so I can keep the video going. But I think this looks so, so cute. This is a really fun stocking stuffer idea or just a little fun gift that you can give someone. Really, really fun and very easy. Again, inexpensive little project to make, plus it uses very little iron-on. Okay, for this next little project, I am going to make a little pouch. This is just a little 100% cotton zipper pouch, and I am going to make a little boo-boo bag, and this is going to be for my purse and or diaper bag because we love Band-Aids around here. They fix everything, and we have quite a stash that always ends up at the very bottom of my purse or diaper bag. So I thought it'd be fun to make a little bag just for my little Band-Aid stash that we have for the kiddos. So I am going to be using a little iron-on that is patterned, and then I'm also going to be using some solid iron-on. So I will press these separately because they require 2 different pressing temps. But for this particular project, for the Band-Aid, I used a 2" by 5.5" scrap piece of iron-on. And then for this piece, I used a 3" by 6" piece of scrap iron-on. So always, always save your scraps because you can turn them into something really, really fun. So really quickly, I am going to take my press and I'm going to preheat my material. And then I am going to press my pattern iron-on first because that requires a higher temperature. So the pattern iron-on is going to be at 340 degrees for 30 seconds. Now again, I am going to be pressing these separately, but I'm going to lay them down together very quickly just so that I can get an idea for where I want to place everything. So just laying them down together quickly so that I can just get them centered. That looks just about right to me. So I will just remove the layer that I'm not going to press, leaving the layer that I'm going to press, which again is that patterned iron-on. Looks good to me. And then I am going to take my press, place it over my design. Again, 340 for 30 seconds with firm pressure. Okay, and this is a cool peel. So what I'm going to do is, one thing I really like to do when I am in more of a hurry or I have lots of things to get done is I like to place my project on a cooler surface because the heat press mat retains a lot of heat, which is its job because it helps to bring the heat and bring it back up out of the mat so that it really does a nice even heat. But when you remove the garment from the mat and place it on a cooler surface, it really cools down quicker. So I'm going to let that cool down quickly and then we can press our next one. So that is nice and cool. So I can go ahead and take my liner and peel up. Everything has laid down very nicely. And then I can go ahead and just place my next design right on top. Now, when you are layering iron-on, you want to make sure that all of your exposed iron-on is covered. So what I mean by that is I had taken that liner off of my pattern vinyl, but I replaced it with the liner of the solid pink vinyl, so everything is covered. You don't want to have your bare iron-on touching your heat source. So you just want to make sure that's protected. If you'd like, you can also just use a piece of parchment paper to place as a barrier as well. So I went ahead and cooled down my machine. It's going to cool to 315 to do the everyday iron-on, which is the solid color. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and press that again at 315 for 30 seconds with light pressure. And then because this is my last layer, what I'm going to do is I will completely flip over my bag and I will press again for an additional 15 seconds. You'll just see that in just a moment. Okay, and one thing I didn't mention is I am avoiding the zipper area, so I'm placing my press below that so that it gets a nice even temperature. Then I'm going to flip over my little bag, and then again, avoiding that zipper, placing it right below, I'm going to press for an additional 15 seconds. Okay, There we go. And I'll also be sure to link to all of the heat guides that I'm using in the description box below to get all of my little heat settings. And it just depends on which product I'm using for which heat guide that I am referring to. So I'll go ahead and let this cool. Again, I can just remove it from my heat mat to help place it on a cooler surface to draw out that heat. And once that's cool, I will go ahead and remove my liner. Okay, so that has cooled. I also forgot to mention I did find the Band-Aid in Cricut Design Space, and then I used a font that I purchased off of Font Bundles or Design Bundles in a nice bundle, so I'll be sure to link that bundle down below as well. I believe the font is called Juniper, but I love how that turned out. So again, another really fun idea for using your scrap iron-on is creating a little makeup bag. Now, you don't have to use this as a Band-Aid bag. You can use this as a makeup bag, a pencil pouch, anything that you need to store little bits and bobs around, and it's a really fun idea and makes for a very fun gift. All right, let's move on to the next project. The next idea that I want to show you is just creating smaller designs on a t-shirt with your scrap iron-on. So for this idea, I thought I would make a little pocket with this scrap pattern iron-on that I had, but I want to take it a step further and have some cute little flowers peeking out of that pocket with some scrap everyday iron-on, which is just a solid white that I had as well. So I thought this would be so cute. I think it's going to turn out really, really sweet. And what I'm going to do, again, just like the last project, is I'm going to press these separately because they require 2 separate pressing times. So once I have them placed on my shirt where I'd like them, I do need to preheat my fabric. So I'm going to just do that for about 5 seconds, just like this. That looks good. And then I am going to press my patterned iron-on first. So again, placing them down together very quickly just to get an idea for the alignment. I might even bring that up just a little bit. Okay, so I like how that looks. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to remove the layer that I'm not going to press and set that to the side. And then I am going to press this at 340 degrees for 30 seconds with firm pressure. Okay, and then this is a cool peel, so I'm going to let that cool down. While that's cooling, I will go ahead and cool off my machine as well to 315 degrees for 30 seconds, and that is going to be the heat settings to press my everyday iron-on to my shirt. Okay, so I will go ahead and peel up my liner. That looks great. And while I'm waiting for my press to cool down a little bit, I will go ahead and place my second little piece where I would like it. I found both of these in Design Space and just did a little bit of editing. So this was a full bouquet, and then I did some slicing to slice off the bottom, so it looked like those little blooms were peeking out from the pocket. And then my pocket, I think it was called Pocket with Pencils. It had some pencils peeking out of it, and of course that wasn't what I was going for, so I just did some editing to that as well. Okay, so now remember, I do want to cover my exposed iron-on, so I'm just going to use this little piece of parchment paper to make sure I place a barrier between my exposed iron-on and my heat source. So now I am going to press my flowers, and I'm going to press at 315 for 30 seconds with light pressure. And of course, all of these projects are being done on my heat pad, so I do have that under there. And now that all of my layers have been pressed, I am going to go ahead and flip my entire shirt over, and I am going to do the additional 15 seconds on the back. Okay, then I will go ahead and let that cool completely and peel off my liner. Okay, so then I will go ahead and peel off my liner now that it is cooled off. And my final design is on my shirt. It looks so cute. So using your little scraps of iron-on, you can create little tiny little items on a garment or a shirt. And another fun idea would be doing logos on a shirt. You could also do monograms, but smaller designs really are helpful for using those little smaller pieces of scrap iron-on. I love how this turned out. I cannot wait to wear this. I believe I forgot to mention, and in case anyone's relying on the measurements, I did use a small piece of iron-on that was sized at about 3¼ inch by 4 inches for the little flowers. And then for the pocket, my scrap piece was about 3¼ inch by 3¼ inch. So I just want to make sure I popped on and said that before I move on to the next one. So the next little project that we are going to do, and one that I think is really really fun is you can actually place iron-on cardstock or paper. So I am going to make a little greeting card with some scrap iron-on that I have. So I have this little pretty robin's egg blue card, and then I have some glitter iron-on that I'm going to place on top of that. So I just cut out a little happy birthday design. I believe this was just in Cricut Design Space, but I am going to use my press at 290 degrees. I'll just go ahead and preheat that material for about 5 seconds once again. And then once that has been preheated, I'll take my design and just place it right on my paper, right like so. Love that. And then I can go ahead again, 290 degrees for 30 seconds and light pressure. And then I will press that little piece of glitter iron-on onto my little cardstock. So my little design that I cut out of the glitter iron-on used a scrap piece of about 3.5 by 3.25. So just a small little piece of iron-on. There we go. And then I will let this completely cool. It's very hot, so I'm just going to slide that right off my mat. Let that completely cool before peeling up my liner. Okay, so that has completely cooled. So then I can just take a corner of my liner and monitor everything as I peel up. That laid down perfectly. Of course, you'll want to just monitor your project whenever you're applying heat, but that looks like it did a wonderful job. Very easy, a wonderful way to use small pieces of scraps, and very easy to personalize because you can just go ahead and put any design you'd like for any occasion. So I love this idea. And make sure you always are saving your scraps because they really can go a long way to creating some really fun ideas that are very meaningful and will make someone really, really happy. Another fun idea for using your scrap iron-on is creating a little banner. So I am going to be using some leftover felt pieces that I had from a pre-made felt banner, and it just had some leftover pieces in the kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place some little letters on my banner and spell out something entirely different for another banner idea that I have. So for this project, I am using some iron-on plus some felt, and I am going to use my EasyPress 2. I like to cover with a protective sheet for this project because sometimes the felt likes to stick to the press. So I'm going to place my press over. I'm going to do 280 degrees for 30 seconds with light pressure. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and just remove my little piece, take it to my table just to cool it off, and then I can bring my next piece in. And this is so fun because you can personalize it to say just about anything you'd like. I do have a full tutorial on doing felt with iron-on my channel, so be sure to look that up if you would like to learn more about that. But it's super easy. It really presses super well. And again, I just like that protective sheet. You can also use parchment paper if you like as well. But I like having a barrier on there because if not, my felt pieces always tend to stick to the bottom of my press, and you really don't want that to happen. And plus, it's kind of dangerous to try to get that off with your fingers. You don't want to burn yourself. So just a word of warning on doing that. So the best thing about this project is if you have a bigger piece of iron-on, you can cut all of the pieces together. But what I did in Design Space is I typed out my word, and then I went ahead and said ungroup or unattach, and it went ahead and placed all of my letters individually so that I could use smaller pieces. So then what I did was I was able to spell out the entire word birthday, but I was able to do each letter on a scrap piece of iron-on. So the scrap pieces of iron-on that I used were about 3 inches by 2.5 inches. So I was able to create a whole banner out of little scrap material. Okay, so this is a cool peel. So I have just been placing my little pieces off to the side to let them cool before peeling up that liner. Okay, so this is completely cooled, so I can just go ahead and peel up my liner. It really lays down so nice, and out of scrap iron-on, I was able to create a fun little birthday sign, and then of course I can attach all of my letters with this little piece of twine. So very, very fun, and just remember, if you want to spell out something larger but you only have scraps, then just make sure you ungroup your letters, and then you can place your letters anywhere you'd like on your mat. Okay, so another fun idea for using your scrap pieces or smaller pieces of iron-on is creating little personalized luggage tags. So I went ahead and cut out my girls' monograms for each of these little tags. That way we can put these on their little duffel bags for traveling when we can travel again. Oh my goodness, I hope is soon. But I thought these would be really, really fun. So again, I'm going to go ahead and use my little EasyPress mini. I went ahead and set this to low. I'm going to take off my little design really quickly, and then I'm going to just preheat my material. I think I'm going to place a little bit of parchment paper on there just to have a little barrier, and I will preheat that for about 5 seconds. And then I will place my little design right where I would like it, being careful because that faux leather does get really warm. So once I'm happy with that placement where I like, I can place my parchment paper right on top, and then I'm going to do, again, low for 30 seconds with constant movement and light pressure. Okay, and then I will go ahead and let this cool. This is going to be a cool peel, and then I will repeat the same process with my second. So again, just going ahead and putting a little bit of preheat onto my material. About 5 seconds is just fine. And then placing my design where I would like it. I believe, I cannot remember where I got these, I'm so sorry, but I purchased them from a place that actually sells blanks to personalize, so I thought these were so, so cute, and I really wish I would have ordered more because I would have done some for myself and even as gifts. I think this would make really fun little gifts again, and stocking stuffers. So again, we'll do 30 seconds on the low setting with constant movement and light pressure. Okay. And then again, I will let this cool because it will be a cool peel. And this has cooled pretty well, so I will go ahead and just peel up my liner. And the design has laid down very, very nicely. Okay, and this has cooled as well, so I can go ahead and remove my liner, monitoring to make sure my design has laid down, which it has. And then we have 2 personalized little luggage tags made only from Scrap HTV or iron-on. So I really love this idea. Again, a really fun gift. It would be a really fun little bridesmaid's gift, stocking stuffer, gift for just about anybody. And you could really have fun with some patterned iron-on as well. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this little idea because I think these are so, so cute. All right, let's move on to the next idea. Okay, so the next idea is personalizing a little can cooler. These are so fun and so easy. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually place a little bit of leftover scrap smart iron-on. So this is for the Joy, so I made sure to go ahead and look up the heat settings for the smart iron-on for this project. And this is actually a smart glitter iron-on. It's really, really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and place a little parchment paper on my can cooler, and I'm just going to preheat that for about 5 seconds just to preheat the material, and then I will place my iron-on right on to my little can cooler, center it where I'd like. I found this design in Design Space. It just says enjoy every sip, and it's so cute. I really love it. Okay, so then I'll place my little parchment paper right back over my design, and I am going to press at 280 degrees for 20 seconds with light pressure. Okay, and then I'm going to just go ahead and make sure that I allow this some time to cool down because this is a cool peel. So I will just let this cool and then I will peel my liner up. Okay, so this is still just a tad bit warm, but I can tell that it has laid down. So I'm going to go ahead and begin peeling that up. And my design has laid down right on my little can cooler. That looks so, so cute. I love how that turned out. It's nice and glittery, and it just makes for a really fun gift. These are really inexpensive to make, so the blank itself is very inexpensive, plus using a little piece of scrap iron-on that was originally going to go in the trash really makes for a cheap, cheap little present. And again, you can personalize this to say just about anything and create this for just about anyone. So this is a fun little idea. Let's go ahead and move on to our final project. For our very final idea for this video, I am just simply going to make a small little wooden sign with some scrap iron-on that I have. So I have a really cute design that I found. I believe it was on Design Bundles. I'll be sure to link it below in case you'd like to purchase it yourself. But this little piece says Sunshine, Coffee, Jesus, and it has a little heart as a period, and it's so cute. For this design, I used about 3 inches by 4 inches for scrap iron-on, so very small piece, and I'm going to press it onto this wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my EasyPress Mini. I'm placing a little piece of parchment paper as a barrier onto my wood, and then I'm just going to preheat my little base for 5 seconds here, just like we have done for the entire series here. Okay, once that has preheated, I can take my design and I can place it where I would like it within the little frame here. And then I can lift it up and see if I like how that looks. I might move it over just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to place my little piece of parchment paper right back over that. I have my EasyPress Mini set to medium, so that's just 2 little wavy marks here. And I'm going to do 40 seconds with constant movement and firm pressure. So I personally like to press half of my design, and then I like to go to the other half. So I'm just going to do this right side. Again, 40 seconds with firm pressure and constant movement. Okay, and then I just like to move over to the other side to cover the rest of my design with some heat. It just helps me make sure that I get a really even press and I cover all of my areas when I just do it in little sections. So you can approach this however you'd like, but I have found it's easiest if I do it like that. Okay, and then once I have done all of my pressing, I can go ahead and allow this to cool. It will be a cool peel. So I'm just going to place this on a cooler surface, and then I will peel up that liner. Okay, so it's still a little warm, but I can tell it has laid down really nice, so I can go ahead and peel up my liner. It looks so cute. I wanted something really fun to place by our little Keurig stand, and I thought this would be really fun. So really small piece of the iron-on that I used, plus this little base was super inexpensive. I believe I found it at Michael's. It was super cheap. So all in all, a very affordable project, and you can make this as a gift for anybody. The possibilities are seriously endless. Okay, so all right, everyone, so 10 project ideas that you can use when using scrap pieces of iron-on or HTV. I really love how all these projects turned out. Remember to always save your scraps because there are so many things that you can turn those little pieces into. I love how all these projects turned out. So for the 10 little projects that I decided to showcase today, we did a banner, we did a little makeup pouch and a card, a small little design on a shirt, some little luggage tags, a little can cooler, which is super cute, and then we did a hat, which is one of my favorites. I think this might be my favorite project, and now I think I need to reorder this hat and make a pink one for me because mine is navy that my daughter loves, so I probably need to remake this for myself now. And then we have a small little wooden sign, a little dish towel, and then we have a little wallet. I also do have a full tutorial on how to personalize a wallet on my channel, so I'll be sure to link that for you as well. So these were just 10 ideas. The possibilities are endless. I really hope you enjoyed this. I know you all really loved the video I did on using scrap pieces of adhesive vinyl, so I just knew it was time to create a video on projects that you can do with those scrap pieces of iron-on. So I hope this was really helpful to you. I hope this sparked some creativity, and I hope that if you haven't been saving your scraps, that this gives you a little bit of incentive to save those smaller pieces because you can turn them into really fun projects. Be sure to give this a thumbs up and like this. I'd appreciate it if you'd share this video to help inspire crafters because it's really helpful to save those pieces to help craft in a cheaper way, and who doesn't love to craft and keep their costs down? Because I know I do. I love creating things when I know I didn't have to spend a lot of money on them or I used a really small amount of material. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next video.